Yes, indeed. Cody, it has been so long since me and you talked, man. What has it been? Over 2 weeks now, at least. Probably going on 3, huh?
It's going on 2.
At least, man. I mean, we both had some stuff going on. Mainly me. I've been busy with school and Tiger TV and stuff like that. But we're back at it, and man, I ain't gonna lie. What a better time we can't get back on. We couldn't get back on this podcast in a better time than we are now, because UFC 209 is tomorrow night. Crazy news breaking today with Khabib and Tony Ferguson's match being canceled. We'll get into that in a second. Also, there's Fastlane pay-per-view is this Sunday, the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. So really, you're going to see what the matches for Mania are shaping up to be like about another month, man. Then there's also some LSU news. We got LSU baseball taking on #1 TCU tonight in Houston, man.
Yeah, that definitely ought to be an exciting game.
The game of the century in baseball. 1 and 2. Look, man, what do you want to talk about today? I mean, we hadn't talked in so long. We're not going to have a set schedule. We're just going to get on here and shoot the bull. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about 209 and then Fastlane. But you got anything else you want to just throw out there before we get into the big stuff?
I mean, we kind of got to throw out Michael Bisping and George St. Pierre.
Yeah, we definitely do. As news is broke.
And I am so glad they made that fight.
Absolutely. I think it's good that GSP is going to move up and fight in the middleweight. Now, you do have to question, though. I'm glad they made the fight, too, but where does this leave Yoel Romero? Because we thought he was the clear #1 contender to Bisping's middleweight championship.
I could care less if that cheating piece of garbage ever fights again. But that was the best fight to make. I didn't want to see George St. Pierre come back and get thrown to the wolves. Necessarily to say against one like Woodley or Wonder Boy, you know, a young gun coming up.
Well, do you think he's kind of
fighting an older fighter in Bisping? Now, granted, he's given up a lot of size, but they're around the same age. They've been in the fight game a long time. He's not one of these young wolves that will eat him alive. You know what I mean?
Really, the only better fight that they could have made, in my opinion, was George St. Pierre versus Anderson. But I know Anderson's way past his prime, but that was a fight that we wanted to see years ago. So I thought that was maybe the only other option. Realistically, St. Pierre was never going to get into the ring with Conor. That's just too big of a size difference, and I just didn't see it happening.
Well, I mean, he fought at 170 before. I really thought that was.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going back to 170. That's the thing.
Who's that, Conor?
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go back to 170.
I think he would if he knew he'd get a big payday, but he.
True.
That's his deal. He kidnaps titles.
Well, when is that fight scheduled for? That's this summer, right? Or we don't have an official date, but
say it later in 2017. They didn't give an official date, so I don't know if it's gonna be after summer or.
Well, Bisping has to have his knee surgery.
He had it.
He did have it. Okay.
He did have it. He's healing up now.
Okay, so
I would probably say
give him at least 2 months for that.
Early fall.
Yeah, you got to give him at least 2 months to heal up from that knee injury. So he'll really probably start training for the fight around June, maybe. What is it? A 9-week camp, a 10-week camp usually?
I listened to a show the other day. He said he sparred the other night.
Oh, so he didn't have an ACL.
No, I think
anything like that, you know.
Get some bone removed and a few more little knickknacks in there, maybe a meniscus, something like that.
Well, since we're talking about injuries, you want to jump into the news that broke today?
We can, and it makes me sick.
Khabib Nurmagomedov had to pull out of his basically #1 contender fight for the lightweight belt, the belt that Conor McGregor holds right now in the 155 division. He had to pull out against Tony Ferguson. I mean, I'm like you. This was the fight that I was most looking forward to on this card. It was co-main event, but some would argue that maybe it was even the main event. Word on the streets that he had to pull out because of weight issues.
Yeah, that's what I read.
I don't know much about Khabib, but I've never read that he's had trouble cutting weight in the past.
Never has.
Well, I mean...
But to be honest with you, he's had layoffs that were years at a time.
Well, the last time that he fought was at 205 in the Garden, correct?
I want to say yes. He fought Michael Johnson.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, because I remember him putting his little hair thing or whatever on Rogan's head.
And he was talking shit to Dana White while he had Michael Johnson around the neck, punching him in the face, talking about "give me your boy," talking about McGregor.
Okay, well, let's get to that, because that's an interesting topic right there, because we both know how you feel about McGregor, so do our listeners do. But where do you think? I mean, what's your feelings on Khabib? You said it before we got on the air, talking all this trash, but yet he has to pull out of this fight at the last minute. Basically, this was, if he won this fight, he was going to get McGregor.
Exactly. To me, if you know you're not going to make weight, or you're having issues making weight, there's no sense in talking all that shit trying to sell the fight. No sense in it at all. Now, if you slip and fall down a flight of stairs and break your arm, a couple weeks before the fight, that's a whole different ballgame. But you not making weight the day before the fight and having to go to the hospital, so like you're probably killing yourself to try to make it. I don't know. I just don't like all that shit. But it is what it is.
It brings up an interesting point, because what was it, last week or maybe even the week before last? I can't really remember, that Matt Mitrione had to pull out of his fight against Fedor for Bellator.
Correct, but he had an illness.
Yeah, it wasn't weight issues. So, but to your point, it's different when it's weight, correct? Because you have all this time to cut this weight. Now, look, cutting weight.
And not just that, you know where you're at with it. You know if you're going to make weight or not.
Look, and cutting weight, I think weight cutting is one of those things that has to happen, because you have to have the fighters on as much of an even scale as you can when they get in there. But it's also maybe the worst thing about MMA, too. I mean, look
at Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah, prime example.
Yeah, and I know there's a dozen more I probably can't think of right off the top of my head, but a lot of those guys have stopped and really started fighting at their own, not their walk-around weight, but less than what they were cutting, and it's worked out for them. Especially
a lot of the older guys, you've seen them move up weight classes. I know it's not UFC, but correct. Chael Sonnen fought at middleweight for forever, and then he fought Tito Ortiz, it was at 205. That's light heavyweight, So
yeah.
I mean, that's a good example. So it's just an unfortunate situation. Anything else you want to add on this Khabib Ferguson thing before we move on? Because I do have one more piece of MMA news, a little old, but we haven't talked since this happened, so I wanted to talk about that.
I hate it for Tony Ferguson. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a fan of Khabib. I like watching him fight. But I hate that Tony Ferguson put in the work, made the weight, spent all that money on a camp. This fight needed to happen. This is, like everybody was saying, it's the people's fight, and it was. Everybody wanted to see this fight.
Well, I mean, everybody argued that the fight to make was Conor and Khabib. So if you were going to give Conor time off to go do whatever he wants to do, raise a family or be there for the birth of his child or whatever, that's fine. But this fight was made. This was essentially, whether they put the interim belt on it or whatever, number one contender, whatever you want to call it, this was essentially to see who gets to fight McGregor next.
Yeah, and Tony Ferguson to me is more deserving to fight Conor McGregor than Khabib is. Khabib has missed more time with injuries and
that might be what you.
That might religious issues during certain times.
Yeah.
Because he's Muslim, he got to do Ramadan, and he can't train while he's doing Ramadan. Tony Ferguson has been out there ripping it up on a 9-fight win streak.
Well, maybe that's.
You not give this guy a title shot.
Maybe that's the fight to make. Maybe you scratch the number. I was just going to ask you, do you think that this fight will be pushed back another month or a couple months down the road, or will Dana just say, screw it, let's do Tony and Conor whenever Conor gets ready?
There's no telling that. That's the last thing you said. When Conor gets ready.
Well, we've heard. I don't know when his wife's due. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's far along in her pregnancy, because whenever he announced that he was stepping away for a little while, that was back in the early month of November. So you've had the whole month of November, December, January, February, March. I mean, we're hitting 5 months now. I'm assuming she was pregnant for a good 2 months before then, so she probably doesn't have too long before she's due. The rumors been circulating around the internet is that he would be back probably in the late summer, around August.
And that could be bullshit too, because if you want to take time off to be with your wife while she has your child, why are you campaigning to get a Floyd Mayweather fight? That's kind of shit about him makes me sick.
Let me put the fan on real quick. I'm getting fucking hot in here.
Do what?
I'm gonna cut my ceiling fan on. I'll step away from the microphone for a second.
Yeah, I'm getting hot too thinking about this. This doesn't make any sense. Gets a belt, kidnaps it, wants to go box, wants to do gymnastics, wants to high dive in the Olympics, wants to do everything but defend that belt. And that really sets me off.
Cody's getting angry here. He's going from Khabib to Conor and to all this other stuff. Real quick before we move on, I want to talk about Derek Lewis and Travis Brown and the comments that Derek Lewis made after their fight a couple weekends ago. But
that was great.
That was awesome. Yeah, I loved every minute of it. Real quick, do you just, I mean, Conor, Floyd, boxing, like, do we even want to go there right now?
No, I don't. I mean, sources say it's going to happen. And I'll probably watch it. But
oh, I'll definitely watch it.
I don't like it. You know?
I'll definitely watch it. But, you know, I honestly don't know if it'll happen or not. We've talked about this before. Floyd has nothing to gain, everything to lose. You know, I think they're just too far away on money, and it could happen.
This. If he got the belt, if he gives the belt up, said, here, Dana, take this belt. I'll come back and get it when I get done boxing. If he would do that, then I would be completely 100% okay with it.
Well, Cody, I think it's all kind of bullshit because, I mean, I don't think the fight's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna box. So I think it's just a big circus. It's a big circle jerk to me.
I always thought that too, and I listened to the countdown the other day, and Bisping and McGregor have the same manager, and I didn't realize that.
That's the fight I want to see, just for the shit talking.
Sources, huh?
That's the fight I want to see, just for the shit talking.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Plus Bisping would bounce his head around.
Yeah. So what did he say?
Bisping said, I'm not going to say it's happening. I'm not going to say it's not happening. But I will say there is a possibility.
Well.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not going to, he's one of the ones that comes out and is going to tell you how to cow eat cabbage. He's not going to sit there and bullshit you know?
Well, let's leave it at that, and let's move on, because he said it perfectly.
Let's just see how everything plays out.
Definitely. Derek Lewis and Travis Brown, man. Derek Lewis, big New Orleans guy, right?
Yeah.
Knocked out Travis Brown in a crazy, brutal, I say brutal fashion. It was just a big knockout. I mean, Derek Lewis is a gigantic man. This happened a couple weekends ago at a UFC fight night, and I think that if this guy keeps winning, the UFC has stumbled upon an unintentional star that's about to be made, because this guy's hilarious.
Yeah, he is. I said it the other day. I told you he reminds me of Kane. When Kane first started, he would beat guys, and he especially against. I remember watching him fight Chet Congo, and Congo used to be an animal.
Oh my God!
Before
yes.
he got older.
Yes.
And Congo knocked him out. And he kept fighting, and he ended up coming back and taking Congo down 6 times and winning the fight. And I sure thought he was going to lose then, you know? And he came up, and he ended up being, he's probably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
Yeah, Chet Congo, man.
Velasquez is one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
Well, I got confused. So you think he's, all right, so you're comparing him to Cain Velasquez, right?
Yeah, I'm saying
no, yeah.
Kane was coming up. That's who he reminds me
yeah,
of.
No,
He
yeah.
gets beat up a little bit. The only thing is Kane was undefeated. But he gets beat up and he ends up winning.
This is what I was going to ask you next. Do you think that he has the cardio that Kane has, though? Cause
no.
No.
But back then, Kane didn't have it either.
Look,
Kane didn't shine until he fought Brock Lesnar.
That's true. That was the biggest, one of the biggest upsets. It was one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. I can remember. This is whenever we didn't know anything about Kane. I can remember I was watching that at Stewart's house, my uncle's, and as Kane was walking down the aisle, Stewart was sitting there saying, "I bet that dude's thinking, what the hell did I just get myself into?" Goes out there and shocks the world, knocks out Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he just did. Not just knock him out, he beat the hell out of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Look, Derek Lewis, I'm gonna have to root for him, man. He's very controversial, and I'll say that and leave it there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go follow him on Instagram. I think it's hilarious, but he does make some controversial remarks. But he's a Louisiana boy, and he's got the gift of gab. And if you got the gift of gab, you're naturally going to attract viewers. So I think that it's maybe a long shot for this guy to go in there and beat guys like Cain Velasquez or Stipe or Fabricio Werdum or anything like that. But
yeah, he's not on that level yet. He might he give Werdum a run for his money, I think.
Well, maybe that's the fight to make.
I'd like to see what he does against a Werdum,
because Werdum
get the title fight, but I'd like to see him fight Mark Hunt. That's what I'd like to see him fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The winner of Hunt and Overeem. Put him against him.
Well, that leads to a great transition. Let's get into UFC 209. We've talked about Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson getting canceled. I really highlighted a couple fights here. We can talk about some other ones if you want, but these are the ones that stood out to me. Alistair Overeem and Mark Hunt. Two big heavyweight battles, man. Both guys maybe not at the best point in their careers right now. Overeem coming off of a very strange loss to Stipe Miocic a couple months ago, and then Mark Hunt, of course, with the whole Brock Lesnar deal and him suing the company and all this and that other stuff. Really just surprised that he's fighting at all. This is gonna be a slugfest. I mean, now that Khabib and Tony Ferguson is out of the picture, I think Woodley and Wonder Boy is probably the best fight to watch, but Alistair Overeem and Mark Hunt has to be close number 2.
Oh, for sure. And they probably would have got a lot more publicity behind this fight, a lot more gas behind it, but the whole Mark Hunt situation, you don't know what kind of handcuffs the UFC has on doing media with it.
Yeah, they'd probably just rather he didn't talk at all.
Yeah.
Well, how do you see this fight playing out? Because both of these guys are coming off of losses, but they can both knock anybody out at the touch of a button. So
I don't think Overeem knocks Hunt out. I think Hunt will knock Overeem out.
You think Mark Hunt's going to win this fight?
Yeah, I'm going Mark Hunt by knockout. They fought back in Dream, I believe, in 2008. I heard somebody say on Sirius XM, and Overeem submitted him. I'm gonna go with a knockout.
I'm gonna go with Overeem, unanimous decision or something like that. I don't think he knocks Mark Hunt out just because I don't think anybody can knock Mark Hunt out really.
Brock Lesnar didn't do it. I don't think it can be done.
Yeah. I don't know where Mark Hunt's head's at. So we've seen Alistair was doing really good work before he got in there and fought Stipe. And you watched that fight. I mean, it was strange how it went down. Didn't Alistair hit him and thought he was knocked out, but he really wasn't, or something
He
like that?
knocked him out. He knocked him out. He flattened him. And instead of going in for punches, he hurried up and tried to grab him in a submission. And Stipe come to, and it was all over with after that. Stipe got up and beat the hell out of it. Crazy
fight. But yeah, man, this is going to be a slugfest. Easily, one of these guys could get knocked out. If it's going to be a knockout win, probably Mark Hunt. But I can't predict a Mark Hunt win just because I don't know where his head's at with the whole UFC lawsuit thing and all this other stuff. So just that's going to be interesting to see, though. A guy who's suing the company going to get in there that very same ring and fight.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I wouldn't have thought he took a fight until after all this deal's over with. Or maybe, you can't ever tell. Maybe they're dealing with each other behind closed doors and nothing's being said about it. So you never know.
Well, I didn't know Rashad Evans was fighting on this card.
Yeah.
He's fighting Dan Kelly. I don't know much about Dan Kelly. What can you tell me?
I really don't know much about him either.
Well, I was reading up a little bit on Bleacher Report today, and most of the guys picked Rashad winning via unanimous decision. I guess I'll go that way just because I don't know much about Kelly. That's maybe a bad choice on my part because I don't know much about the guy, and I'm picking the guy that's established to win. But I mean, Rashad Evans, man, I just he's way past his prime. So I think this is kind of like Anderson Silva, maybe Derek Brunson or something like that. This has this type of feel. This fight has this type of feel to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy I don't know. I'm gonna go with Dan Kelly.
Let's get to the main event. Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson for the UFC Welterweight Championship of the World. Rematch from UFC 205 in the Garden. These guys just went to war with each other, and it ended up being a draw. We've seen a lot of things happen with Tyron Woodley. The comments he's made about the UFC and what he perceives to be his status in the company since then. So this is his shot, man. If he really wants to silence a lot of his critics, and if he really wants to get the respect that he thinks he deserves, this is his shot to go out and prove it right here.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think he gets the job done. As I hate to say it, because I do not care for him after all his crying and whining. I think he just needs to show us what he can do, because he is a hell of a fighter. All that whining and complaining and all that, just shut up and fight. That's what you get paid to do. I've said it 1,000 times. He didn't beat the best of the best to get that belt. He got the shot at Lawler. He beat Lawler. Lawler was the best of the best. But other than that, he really didn't go through much stiff competition. And he wasn't on a hell of a win streak. Condit he beat, but Condit blew his knee out. You didn't beat Carlos Condit. You won by default. So you can't sit there and say you're oppressed when you've not even defended your belt. You fought to a draw, and you have an analyst job on Fox. Who else has that?
Yeah.
All your top guys.
Cormier.
So what are you then?
Cormier, Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
I think it boils down to this. He wants the big money fight, or he wants to be paid like Conor McGregor or Nate Diaz or Bisping, somebody like that. The problem is all three of those guys and every other top guy that's ever been in his spot and has made a lot of money knows how to sell a fight. And I'm not saying Tyron Woodley necessarily doesn't know how to sell a fight, but you're not going to sell it by getting up there and talking about all the stuff that he's talking about that you've just mentioned. You sell it by talking trash, talking shit, throwing water bottles at each other in a press conference, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
You
Nate Diaz didn't make a whole lot of money until he fought Conor.
No.
And he's been in the sport a long time.
So maybe I mean, do you think he just wants to he wants to fight Conor McGregor, or he wants to fight a George St. Pierre or a Michael Bisping or somebody that's big like that? Is that what he wants?
Yeah, I mean, he wants the big money fights, and I don't blame him. But you hadn't earned that yet. Conor McGregor beat Jose Aldo in 13 seconds.
Yeah, that's what made him a star.
I mean, Jose Aldo is probably the most dominant champion in the sport.
Look, people can say what they want about Conor, but he really didn't. He was big before that because he ran his mouth, and then was that summer who did he fought? Chad Mendez, right, in Ireland. Yeah, and that was a big deal. But he didn't really make himself until, like you just said, he knocked out Jose Aldo, who had been the most dominant freaking featherweight in the world that we've ever seen. So,
and my problem isn't with McGregor the way he acts. I think that's hilarious. I think it sells the fights. I think it reminds me of Ric Flair. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
What I don't like is he doesn't defend his belt. Exactly what Woodley's trying to do. You want to fight Conor McGregor? You going to defend a 170-pound belt against Conor McGregor? Why would you want to fight somebody that was a featherweight champion? What do you get by that? I mean, you get money.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Defend the belt.
Well,
show some pride. That's what I like. Show pride.
We've skipped over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who is I really like this guy too. You know, this is a tough fight for me to pick. Maybe I'm wrong by doing this, but I'm gonna go with my heart. My head says Tyron Woodley, but my heart says Wonder Boy. So I'm gonna go with Wonder Boy. But I mean, there's a part of me that says Tyron Woodley is definitely gonna maybe win this fight. I mean, I honestly, dude, if I'm speaking 100% truthful here, I got pretty toasted on UFC 205 and don't really remember every little bit of the card, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
from me actually, what I remember about this fight, I wouldn't have, if I was a judge, I wouldn't have scored it a draw. I would have probably gave it to Woodley. I definitely think he won the earlier rounds of the fight.
I think he did too. I think he did enough with his takedowns and octagon control to win it.
Yeah.
But then again, Stephen Thompson had probably outstruck Woodley in that fight, and that's what probably helped him out a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
He has immaculate striking. What I want, let me take that back. If I know Woodley can knock you out at any second. Anybody, I don't care if you're heavyweight or not. Woodley has explosive power and explosive takedowns. Stephen Thompson needs to keep you on the outside and use his kicks and his range. That's what he does.
Yeah, he picks people apart.
Exactly.
He's a finesse fighter.
Throw those kicks, you set yourself up for those explosive takedowns of Tyron Woodley. So it plays right into Woodley's hand.
You're making a great point right now.
And I want so bad for Stephen Thompson to win this fight because I think he's one of my favorite fighters. I watched him since he first started. He's very humble. I love what he does with the kids at his dad's gym. Love that his dad's his corner man. Who doesn't like that? Feel-good story.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just think Woodley's going to end up winning this fight.
Anything else you want to throw out about UFC 209 before we move on? Are you going to rent it?
Sucks so bad that Khabib couldn't make weight.
Are you going to rent it?
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I'm not.
Yeah.
That really made me not want to, but I probably will anyway. I mean, I want to see Thompson and Woodley go at it again.
They're not
that was one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was awesome. They're not replacing that fight either. They're not going to have an opponent ready for Tony Ferguson.
What I read said they gave him an option to fight Michael Johnson for a different amount of money, and he declined it.
I mean, what's that going to do for him?
Nothing. I mean, you take a chance, you get caught on a button, he knocks him out. 9-fight win streak down the gutter, and then you chance at a belt down the gutter.
Yeah, and then where do they go?
That's not who you train for either, you know.
Right. You want to talk about some WWE news, some Fastlane this Sunday?
Let's get it.
We always say it's a damn good weekend when you got a UFC card on Saturday night and then a WWE pay-per-view on Sunday. So WWE Fastlane is this Sunday night. It is the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. A lot of big matches on this card, man. We hadn't talked wrestling in a while, so I'm going to be interested to see that a lot of the storylines have gone in different directions since we last talked. Let's break down. This is one of the biggest matches on the card. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Who, man, I don't know what's going to happen here because WWE loves to book both guys so strong. We've seen what they've done with Braun since the brand split. The booking on him has been A+. And you say it all the time. They really have something special with him if they keep that up.
They definitely do.
Of course, Roman Reigns has been booked to be like the second coming of Hulk Hogan and John Cena mixed together since, years now. I mean, a couple years now. Where do they go, man? It kind of smells like there's going to be a fluky finish or something like that. I hope there's not, but...
Well, you can't book Reigns to take on Taker at WrestleMania if that's the way they're going.
That's the way they're going, man. Unless
you can't have him lose before WrestleMania and then take on Undertaker. You got to book him strong on into Mania if you're going against the dead man.
So you beat Braun, who you booked to be the second coming of Brock Lesnar to this point.
Yeah, I mean he's young enough where he can come back from it, dominant against everybody else in the company. So I don't think a loss really hurts him that bad.
Did you see
against Roman Reigns losing to Braun Strowman would hurt his chance at WrestleMania in the storyline they're telling?
Did you see Braun Strowman versus the Big Show on Raw 2 weeks ago?
Man, I have not been able to watch Raw or SmackDown working these crazy hours.
Yeah, I know you've been working a lot, but man, that was a hell of a big man match, and I want to give it, man, Big Show. Have you seen pictures of this guy lately, at least?
Yeah, I saw him before he came out of the Rumble.
The dude's got a six-pack.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
That's probably 400 something pounds.
Yeah, I think he's down in the low 400s now. This guy, Big Show, man, always been a big fan of Big Show. He's been through some high ups in his career and some downs with booking and all that other stuff like that. But he's in the best shape of his life, and he's in his 40s. So I don't know what that dude's doing.
I watched him live at an event me and Dax went to probably 3 years ago, and he was so slow in the ring he couldn't hardly move. And after the cameras went off, people were yelling at him, retire, calling him Big Slow and all this other stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And like he's really got pissed off and started yelling that back at the people. I do this shit for y'all for 20-something years, and this is how you thank me. And he walked off. And you know, it kind of set sour with me because he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Maybe that gave him the motivation to get back in shape. You know? And I'm happy for him.
Maybe it did. I watched a documentary on him on the network one time. This was put out a couple of years ago, so he was still. Definitely. It was probably about 2011, 2012. He actually said that he had a eating problem. I mean, he was addicted to like fast food and stuff like that. And so at his biggest, he was 550 pounds. And then he left WWE for a little while and then came back. And that's when they did the Mayweather and Big Show last man standing match at WrestleMania 24. And he was significantly smaller and in better shape. He also said, like, before he left WWE, he never worked out. You know, he could just go into the gym and bench press 500 pounds like it was nothing, you know. But he never worked out or anything because he didn't have to. That was kind of his shtick. But man, it's crazy. I don't know what he's doing. If it's DDP yoga or what. But this, I mean, in his 40s now, he's probably getting close to 45 years old. Big Show's in the best shape of his life and legitimately has abs. I mean, it's crazy. We'll go share that on the Facebook for you so you guys can watch that. But we're getting a little distracted here. Back to Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. Anyway, the match with Braun Strowman and Big Show on Raw was pretty damn good, even though it was two giants. And sometimes those matches don't always get to be the most exciting. But the crowd was definitely chanting, "This is awesome," in the middle of the match. So that's a good sign for both of those guys, especially Braun Strowman.
I don't think there's anything you could do to him besides sending him out there in a pink tutu with his hair spiked up to hurt his image right now. I don't think a loss hurts him at all.
I'm curious to see what your answer to this next question I'm going to ask you. We heard going into WrestleMania last year there was a lot of rumors that Braun Strowman was going to face The Undertaker, and the whole internet was shitting on it and everything else like that. Now Roman Reigns is getting ready to face The Undertaker. I mean, it's 95% sure that's what's going to happen unless Undertaker comes down with an injury or something like that. And that's the way they've set it up. But looking at this now, Roman Reigns is a much more established guy. Definitely a guy that gets some backlash, but a more established guy. And you have Braun Strowman. So I think it's kind of ironic that I think people would rather see Undertaker wrestle Braun Strowman at WrestleMania right now than they would Roman Reigns.
I think so too, because everybody hates Roman Reigns. And I don't, like I said, we've talked about this 100 times too. I think they turn him heel. I've always been a fan of Roman Reigns. I like the look. I like his moveset. I liked him when he was in the Shield.
The problem is he can't talk worth the shit. I mean, you know.
Which if they let him go,
but
maybe he could surprise a lot of people.
I think he could cut a heel promo. I don't want to take that back. I don't want to say he can't talk worth the shit because I've seen him talk in areas where he's unscripted, and he's definitely not The Rock by any means, but he's not Sid Vicious either. I mean, he he can say what's on his mind and get it over, but I think he's just more of a silent badass, and they don't need
that's kind of what I was about to say about The Rock. Somebody said they need to let him go out there and do his own thing and cut a promo like the Die Rocky Die one and let him evolve himself and go with it. You know what I mean? Don't script his promos. Let him go out there and say what he got to say. If you're going to make him a star, you got to trust him with that.
We can talk about Undertaker and probably Roman Reigns in a later podcast because it's not official yet. I just want to say this before we move on to the next match. If this happens, this match, Roman Reigns, Undertaker at WrestleMania, they're really booking themselves into a corner because if Reigns beats Undertaker,
oh man,
I mean it's going to be a worse reaction than anything we've ever seen.
If John Cena and the Undertaker don't go sit down in Mr. Man's office and tell him that we are wrestling at WrestleMania, or we're not going to be there anymore and we quit, then this WrestleMania is going to be shit. They have to do something. That match has to happen. You got to.
We've talked about this, and yes, I agree with you 100%. I texted you Tuesday night because I was watching SmackDown, and Cena comes out there, and it's him and Miz in a promo, and fantastic promo, by the way. I'm still not hot on the whole angle with the mixed tag and all that other stuff that they're going to do, but Cena cut a promo on Miz, and Miz cut a promo on Cena, and man, look, they've sold me. They used real stuff against each other, and John Cena actually said, I'm not going to say it word for word because I don't remember it word for word, but he said, if I had it my way, I'd be wrestling The Undertaker right now and going into WrestleMania. And then the crowd erupted. And then he said something to the effect like, I may not be wrestling The Undertaker, but if you come at me at WrestleMania, Miz, you're a dead man walking. And they left it at that, you know. And I think it's obvious that John Cena wants that match, and I just don't know why you don't fucking book it.
I don't either. Yeah, that is, I think a 7-year-old wrestling fan could tell you that's the match everybody wants to see.
That is the only. That is, look, you can do Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. That's fine. You can do freaking Rock versus Triple H or whatever, but you know, the biggest match that you can possibly make, the biggest and most realistic match that you can possibly make is Undertaker versus John Cena. Maybe if CM Punk was going to come out of retirement, him versus Triple H. I mean, that's the match. That's the match. As Joey Coco Diaz would say, that's the freaking match. Undertaker and John Cena. And that's what you should book. But it's probably not going to happen. And I don't know if we'll ever see it.
Yeah, because like we talked about before, if you don't do it now, you really might not ever see it.
Let's move on to Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe. This Samoa Joe debuted on main card after Royal Rumble, I believe it was. And, of course, Seth Rollins injured his knee after that. And we do have news. They played it out on Raw like he's probably not going to wrestle at Mania. But word on the street is that 100% him and Triple H is a go, which is great. I mean, that's a hot match right there.
Most definitely. I mean, you got a lot of matches at Mania that'll bring it and put it up there with the greatest WrestleManias of all time. I don't know if you'll top WrestleMania 30 because that was probably one of the best ones I've ever seen.
Undertaker versus John Cena could put it over the top. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
If they don't make that match, you still got a good card, but you'll never have the card you could have had.
Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe. Honestly, this will probably be the match of the night. I mean, both these guys can go for show in the ring, you know. I'm going to say Samoa Joe wins. I don't know where he's going at WrestleMania because I think it's pretty clear that they're going to have Triple H and Rollins, and they're kind of playing it off as Samoa Joe is Triple H's boy right now, his new destroyer. But maybe they go Joe and Rollins, but I think people would rather see Triple H and Rollins. I think that's the bigger match to make. So, you know, I don't know where Samoa Joe goes from here, but I'm going to say he wins. I don't think it'll hurt Sammy at all because that's kind of his character. He's the underdog. He's not meant to be able to beat a big badass heel like Samoa Joe, but when it happens, it's something special, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to see him end up getting shit on like Dolph Ziggler.
No. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Because both of those guys are good talents. You know how I feel about Ziggler. I think Sami Zayn's the same caliber of wrestler. He's great, and you got to let him win something before long.
Yeah, yeah. The match that he had with Kevin Owens earlier this year, I think it was in May. I can't remember the pay-per-view. I'll go back and I'll look it up on the network for you. I watched it, and that to me that was quite possibly the best match, one of the best matches of 2016 that I've ever seen, and he actually ended up winning that one. But that was a great match. Let's move on to the tag team division. I really don't like the storyline at all, Gallows and Anderson versus Enzo and Cass. They just haven't made Gallows and Anderson to look that strong. I think it's painfully obvious that eventually they're going to put the belts on Enzo and Cass because they're the top babyface tag team out there. But I think they'll hold that off until WrestleMania.
I'm 100% okay with that if they do that. I love Enzo and Cass. I mean, like you said, gift to gab. Enzo has it more than anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Bayley versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley actually won the title, which I thought they were going to hold that off until WrestleMania, but she won it on Raw. However, Charlotte's going to win this match. She's undefeated on pay-per-view. They play that storyline up all the time. She's going to get the belt back, and then I think what they're setting it up for is to be a four-way at WrestleMania between Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax.
Wow, that could be a hell of a women's match.
Yeah, for sure. So you going with Charlotte?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I think pound for pound, she's the most talented woman in the whole division.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Well, let's get to it. Kevin Owens versus Goldberg for the Universal Championship. Where do you want to start with this one? Oh, man. Should this match even be happening?
No. Should not.
I'm all for...
How are you going to sign a guy to 3 pay-per-views and put him in a world title match?
I'm all for having Goldberg wrestle this match. But, hell, put him against Reigns. But you can't... If he comes out there and squashes Kevin Owens like he did Brock Lesnar in 2 minutes, the crowd is going to completely turn on Goldberg. And...
I don't think so.
You don't think?
But I don't think they'll turn on Goldberg, but I think you make Kevin Owens look like shit, and he's got his whole career ahead of him, and Goldberg's going to be out by the summertime. He's going to be collecting his money and back on vacation.
Did you listen to Kevin Owens on Stone Cold's podcast this past Tuesday? It was a pretty good interview.
No, I haven't.
You should go back and listen to that if you get a chance before Sunday. I mean, I know you're busy with work and stuff like that, but it was a pretty good interview, and they talk about this match a little bit. And Kevin Owens kind of, he toes the company line, but he does mention, and they kind of, Stone Cold and Kevin Owens are buddies, so they kind of do this interview in character a little bit. Like, Owens stays in character a little bit for certain spots, and he kind of says, you know, hey, I'm the guy that's here week in and week out. I'm the champion, and then comes Goldberg. He thinks he's going to beat me. He's only wrestled 2 matches in the past 10 years. You know, what's he thinking? And I kind of just, you know, he's throwing that out there, toting the company line. So he kind of says similar things. I don't have a problem with the match, but I really think, like, look, WWE, I just feel like they're going to put the title on Goldberg when they don't have to. Goldberg and Lesnar 3 Goldberg and Lesnar does not need a world title belt. It doesn't. It sells itself. However, Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, which that's obvious what they're going to be doing at WrestleMania. Do you know how much more that would benefit from having a world title match with it?
Yeah. I mean, you have Jericho drop the U.S. title to somebody and have a U.S. title match, and then you have Owens and Jericho for a Universal title.
Yeah. So
it seems so easy to book this stuff, and it seems like the people that are paying millions of dollars are just screwing it up.
You think Goldberg wins the belt?
Yeah, I most definitely do, especially from things I've read. I mean, nowadays that's how you go off of dirt sheets, you know.
Yeah.
I've been seeing for 2 months now that that Goldberg and Lesnar was going to be for a Universal title, but I didn't know how he was going to get it. Now it's, you know, apparent.
Who would you rather see Goldberg wrestle on this card? Because I know you want to see him wrestle Lesnar at Mania, and that's the match to book. But who do?
I would like to see him wrestle Roman Reigns.
Okay, but who would win that match?
I don't think it lost to Goldberg hurts Roman Reigns.
I'd love to see. There's several people I'd love to see him wrestle. And look, I don't dislike that he's wrestling Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is a fantastic wrestler. I honestly think Kevin Owens is going to go out there and try to blow him up, though.
Yeah.
And try to make him look like he's out of gas. So I don't know how long the match is going to go on for, but Kevin Owens could make a fool of Goldberg this weekend if he wanted to. I like what Shawn Michaels used to do to Hulk Hogan and guys like that, you know.
Yeah, you're very right.
Man, is there anything else you want to talk about the wrestling side of the world right now before we move on to finish it out?
I think we covered it, man. I just not making Undertaker and Cena at WrestleMania.
We could do a whole podcast to bitch about that, but you know, I don't think we want to bitch anymore. How about
I think Fastlane's gonna be a hell of a pay-per-view. I think the women are gonna steal the show.
What about what you like? You like SmackDown's doing pretty good right now, man. I know you said you hadn't watched that much because of work, but they're putting in some fantastic storylines and doing great week-to-week storytelling.
Yeah, and they've been doing that since the brand split.
AJ Styles and Randy Orton are going to wrestle this next SmackDown to see who faces Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. I know you probably hadn't been keeping up because you hadn't watched it. And Randy Orton won the Rumble and was supposed to get the title match, but then he said he wasn't going to because Bray was his buddy or whatever. So then they did the Battle Royal.
He has to get back in that match, bottom line.
Oh, absolutely. But
something has to happen. He has to turn on Bray Wyatt. He has to.
Well, he kind of did that. He kind of did that this past SmackDown. He like burnt Sister Abigail in her chair or something like that in the backwoods segment. It was kind of cool, but it kind of did it too early for me though. I was like, where did this come from? You know, but
yeah, I mean that kind of thing needs to happen about 3 weeks prior. You know.
Yeah. But hey, if they're gonna make this a triple threat at Mania, Luke Harper has to be in this match.
Oh yeah.
And look, Luke Harper. Fans are hot for that dude right now after he turned face. And that Battle Royal where it was him and AJ Styles and they were who was going to go to Mania to face Bray. The crowd was chanting Luke. He's a hell of a talent. But they're going to have.
Definitely is.
They had the #1 contender match this past SmackDown where AJ Styles and Luke Harper wrestled, and it was kind of controversial. Styles pinned Harper, but Harper had his foot on the ropes. So Shane McMahon runs out there. They restart the match. Then Harper, on accident, while Styles and Shane McMahon are arguing, Harper goes to super kick AJ, but he misses and hits Shane McMahon. But while he's distracted, AJ does some shit or some cheating shit and then rolls him back in the ring and pins him. So it was kind of fluky in that way. But the word on the street is that AJ Styles was supposed to face Shane McMahon at Mania.
Yeah, I read that too. And that would be a great match.
Hell, AJ Styles versus Undertaker. What the hell?
I'm not into that.
Would you rather see it than Reigns and Undertaker?
I mean,
you just want to see Reigns and Cena. I mean, Undertaker and Cena.
Yeah.
Me too.
I definitely do.
Other
than that, I really don't care, to be honest with you.
Anything else you want to talk about, man, before we close it out? We had the Combine today. Leonard Fournette weighs 240 pounds and he can still run a 4.5 40-yard dash, so there's that.
I wish he was coming back in the purple and gold this year.
Got Mr. Geist back there. LSU basketball finally got a win. Does anyone care?
Not at this point.
True that. But hey, it was cool. I covered the game and did a story on it, so it was cool to see them go out with a win at home and probably what was Johnny Jones' last game here at LSU. It was kind of a cool thing. I got
some baseball.
Hey man, it's on right now.
Yeah. I'm ready to get some time off and go to a game.
Hey, whenever we hang up, you can put it on Eagle 98.1 and listen to play-by-play.
Yeah.
Well, let's leave it at that then, man. And it was good to get back on here and talk to you. Hell, we went for damn near an hour, but we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely did. We definitely do it again. keep it week by week, even though I know we got tough schedules, but
yeah.
I enjoy doing this.
No, oh man, absolutely. It's
look forward to it every week.
it's a release for me, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
And with WrestleMania coming up in basically a month away, we've got to stay on top of it too.
Yeah, and then you get DC and Rumble coming up too.
That's in April, correct?
Yeah.
Whew, it's getting better and better. Let's hope that nobody gets hurt in that one.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
All right, Cody. Good talking to you, man.
You too, bud.
All right. See you later.
Later.
You can catch me on Friday, chilling at the hole in the wall, dancing with Miss Kathy, and I don't think she have on no draws. Wait a minute, they call me Paul.